So I made a new class in Hearthstone, which is the Necromancer class. Obviously, a new class is really cool, but let's go into what makes the Necromancer so special, as well as a bunch of new cards for the class. Let's first talk about the original story of the Necromancer. Once in the world of Azeroth, the mighty Lich King led his unbeatable army of undead, including powerful skeleton mages. They seemed invincible, conquering all who stood in their way. However, fate had a different plan. As the Lich King's helmet was shattered by Sylvanas, the curse that controlled the undead was broken. Our skeleton mage, freed from the grip of control, embarked on a journey into the Outland. There, he discovered Gul'dan, a master of demonic forces. Intrigued by the necromancer's potential, Gul'dan took him under his wings, becoming his mentor. The necromancer's desire for summoning undead minions grew, yet, as time passed, the necromancer realized he had his own path to attempt. The necromancer went into the dark forest, determined to build his own empire there. With relentless dedication, he built an army of undead that struck fear into the hearts of their foes. Whispers of their might spread far and wide, establishing their place as the most powerful force in the eastern parts of Azeroth. And now let's go into hero power and bunch of new cards that I made for this class. The hero power is named Soul Harvest. A 1 mana hero power, destroy a friendly minion to draw a card. This is our second 1 mana hero power, but this one is more like Warlock's one. You sacrifice your minion to draw a card instead of sacrificing your health. That's why it costs 1 mana crystal, because you can't use it without having a friendly minion on board. The Necromancer class introduces cards with new mechanics, such as cards that synergize with the undead. For example, Brintroll, a 3 mana 3/2 weapon, the Threattle, if your deck has only undead minions, cast Boneheart Shield. A 5 mana legendary spell, Boneheart Shield. For the rest of the game, your hero takes 1 less damage from all sources. This is exactly an opposite effect from Void Touched Attendant, which was a 1 mana 1/3 minion, which made both heroes take 1 additional damage, but this spell makes it for the rest of the game that your hero takes 1 less damage. That means that Astalor the Flamebringer deals 0 damage to your hero, as well as Cthulhu the Shattered is completely useless against you. Then we have Primal Necromancer, a 2 mana 2/3 undead. Start of game, if your deck has only undead cards, summon Primal Ghoul. Primal Ghoul is a 10 mana 20/10 charge, dormant for 10 turns. Another unique type of cards are cards that have an effect while dormant. Maybe you remember the card called Archdruid Gnarlex, 3 mana 3/3, dormant for 2 turns. While dormant, add a dream card to your hand at the end of your turn. I really like this effect, and that's why there are a bunch of cards that have a similar effect, but they are for the Necromancer class. For example, Ruined Necromancer, a 2 mana 2/5, dormant for 3 turns. While dormant, summon a 2/2 undead with Taunt at the end of your turn. It's a 2 mana 2/2 undead Taunt Risen Skeleton. Another card with a similar effect is the Ruined Portal, a 5 mana 0/3 dormant. While dormant, summon a 5/5 undead at the end of your turn, a Skeletal Enforcer. And this is really similar to the Nether Portal and to the Twisting Nether that has Sargeras the Destroyer. But from what we've seen in the past, just having a 5/5 on your board at the end of each turn is really good, but it's nothing too overpowered because the Nether Portal was completely useless back then and it is still very weak even in Discard Warlock. Next, we have other cards for the Necromancer class. We have Bone Giant, a 10 mana 8/8, costs 1 less for each undead you've summoned this game. This is really similar to the Giant Totem, which has the same effect, but instead of summoning undead, you want to summon totems. Next we have Wicked Skeleton, a 5 mana 1/1, Battlecry, gain +1/+1 for each friendly undead that died this game. Another card that I think is really cool, and everyone who played Hearthstone in 2017 will remember this card, a 4 mana 0/8 Bone Spike, an undead minion. At the end of your turn, deal 5 damage to a random enemy. This is a weaker but cheaper version of Ragnar's the File Lord. Next we have Gorebringer, a 4 mana 7/6 Battlecry, destroy a random minion in your hand, deck and battlefield. This is a complete opposite to Patchwork. Next we have a 2 mana spell, Soulgrave, Fell, destroy a friendly minion to draw 2 cards. Next we have Skeletal Knight, a 1 mana 1/3 undead taunt, which is exactly the same as Voidwalker. Next we have Skeleton Archer, a 1 mana 3/1 undead rush. Then we have a Grim Necromancer, which would be a 3 mana 2/4 undead. At the end of your turn, summon 2 1/1 skeletons. This is a really similar effect to the Battlefield Necromancer. Next we have Skeleton Horde, a 3 mana shadow spell, summon 4 1/1 undead, upgrades each turn. So for example, if this starts in your opening hand, on turn 10 it could be, for example, summon 7 4/5 undead. This is like Fiendish Circle, but the fact that the Necromancer class isn't so good at going wide and buffing your minions, that's why this has a better effect. Last but not least, we have the Bone Storm. 2 mana frost spell, deal 1 damage to all enemies, draw a card. This is like Fan of Knives, but you deal also 1 damage to the enemy hero. I hope you enjoyed this video, and please leave a like because it took me a while to make this custom class. Thanks for watching and stay tuned, my friends.